This is my weekly report for December 12th. We're out there. I'll give you the idea what we're doing. We're out in the California Delta this week, and we had a couple good days. Here today with Tim and Denise, and Denise is holding the camera. She didn't do very good today. So
I can't say anything.
so let's show them what we got. This is what we got, folks. The stripers have moved in, and we got them what?
Good time, striper and spooning and a little bit on the flats.
Yeah,
It was good. It was hot and heavy for a few minutes there.
Yeah, we were probably in anywhere from 18 to 25 feet of water. But there's a lot of stripers moving in the system. A friend of mine's been bait fishing in Rio Vista. He's been catching the heck out of them on mud suckers and shad. Rick Teagues was down there yesterday, and he grafted tons of them, but they would not hit a spoon. He had about 6 inches of visibility in the Sherman and Rio Vista. Over here, we can see down a couple feet. So the fish are headed this direction. It's going to be a very good year. So he's back in there.
Great day.
So anyway, guys, that's what's been going on with me for this last week. Been sneaking down here in the Delta. As you know, the lakes, you got to be careful now. I would make sure you call before you go to any lakes because of that golden mussel. But we'll get into that in a minute. But a lot of things, usually I start out in the ocean. Haven't heard too much about bluefin, but the yellowtail, there's a bunch of them outside of Bodega. Got some friends that went there not too long ago, and they caught a lot of fish. They're not real big. They're anywhere from probably 15 to 20 pounds. It's really nice. They're catching a lot of them. And they're also catching some albacore right now. So bluefin, we haven't heard too much, but the albacore and yellowtail have been really good. So the 50 Phantoms opened up, so you only can fish in like 300 feet or deeper for rock fishing. Also, on Cal Dawn with James Smith, and then he's out of San Francisco, and then Sea Angler Rick Powers out of Bodega Bay. They're both going to Rittenberg. They're going out there and they're catching the heck out of the bottom fish. Not a lot of lingcod because this is the time of year. You can look back at my video I did last year. The lingcods are starting to move in shallower to spawn, so they're usually in that 100 to 30 feet of water, and they move in closer to the shore. But all those rockfish that are out there, they're catching a lot of reds, a lot of vermilions. They're just slaughtering them. They make one drift and limit out the boat. So they got 30 guys on there, and James was telling me he drifts one time and he puts 300 of rockfish in his boat. So they're killing them. And then they come back in, dump the crab pots, and they're limited out on crabs. So when you go on the trip with either one of those guys, you're going to get limits of rockfish and Dungeness crab. So you're going to have a good haul because the rockfish are really good size out there. You know, they probably average around 4 to 6 pounds, and once in a while you get around 8 or 10 pounder. So it's definitely worth, heading out there right now. Dungeness crab season, it goes all the way through June. There's no depth limit, so you can fish in any depth you want. The season's been pretty good. As of right now, they haven't opened commercial yet because of the whales that they sight out there, so the commercial season hasn't opened yet. So the Dungeness crab season has been pretty good, when weather permits and you could get out. San Francisco Bay, haven't heard too much about halibut because people are getting tired of catching them because it's been going on for so long. There's a few stripers out there, but like I said, a lot of them are starting to move into Delta because they'll make it their home for the next 3 months. So a lot of the fish, like Rick told me yesterday, he's grafting tons of them, but they wouldn't bite. But he can only see down 6 inches. And I think, Rio Vista from where I'm at, over here by Liberty, you're talking about maybe 5 miles, and those fish could travel that far easily in half a day. And over here, it's a lot clearer. So we haven't been literally slaughtering them, but, when we get on a bite, many a times we've had in the last 2 days 3 on at once. So, the schools will stick around for a minute, and you'll hook them, you'll miss them. We've been losing a lot of fish. I don't know why. I think maybe someone's dulling my hooks or something behind my back when I ain't looking. And, In the bay, they're also catching a lot of leopard sharks still. And, if you're going to go out there and fish, you might want to call and see if the bait receiver is still open. I think it is, but I would call and make sure. So other than that, let's see this thing about the golden mussels, because of some of the lakes are closing, like Berryessa and Comanche closed first, and then a lot of these lakes are following suit. Hensley closed, New Melones, Hogan Lake. So these lakes are starting to close. So once the water districts start getting their together, then you're going to see more closures. And the problem is that decontaminating centers are not open. You can go to Gone Fishing Marine and they tag your boat with a red tag, and it's good. You have to wait 30 days before you go launch at any of these boats, at any of these lakes that I mentioned. The ones that are closed, you have to, make sure that your boat has that red tag. It has to be 30 days after they tag it, because in the 30-day period, the mussels are supposed to die off. If you get your boat decontaminated, then you can launch it right after you get it done. You can go launch. And what's going to happen is they're going to put that green tag on your boat when you leave, if you ask for it, and then you could return in the next day, a week, 2 weeks, it doesn't matter. But if you go to the Delta and you launch your boat and pop that tag off, then you got to start all over again. So Gone Fishing is just tagging the red ones, and I think he does it for no charge. But I'm pretty sure he's going to put a decontamination center in, and they're going to start opening more so that they can allow the boaters to go in. So the problem is, this pertains to water skiers, to recreational, to fishing, to everybody. So as long as that boat been floating and you take it out, then you're going to have to follow by these rules. Kayakers, if you have a electric motor on it, you have to have a CF number, so then you have to have it decontaminated. If you don't have an electric motor, you don't have to, which is kind of a crock, because it doesn't matter if you have a motor or not. The reason they're doing it is because when you have a CF number on your vessel, that's how they're going to track you. So the Solano County has a database where they're going to put your CF number with your name, your address, and everything about you. And then if you go to a lake, say you get your boat tagged at Gone Fishing, you go to a lake, they put your name and the tag number in there, it goes to a database, and they know if it's legit or not. If you're not in there, for some reason it didn't go in, or you try to do a sneaky thing, then you're not going to launch. They're going to be really firm on this, so make sure that you're up and up, and you watch out where you go, because that situation will occur. Crappie down the Delta, last week I did really well. I'm sure they're still biting. I haven't been out lately, but I'm sure you could still catch them. So anyway, trout, this is the time of the year that all the lakes start planting trout. They're still planting them, even though like Comanche is closed, they're still planting trout. So the people that fish off the bank, you could go there and fish off the bank and catch them, but there's no boats allowed launching in Comanche at this time. None, zero. So they're still planting them. So I'm sure like Amador, I haven't heard, I don't think they're closed yet, but some of them lakes, I would just call and make sure, if I was heading to one of these lakes, and see what the situation is. Pyramid Lake's open, the land of those cutthroat trout, the biggest trout you ever catch in your life. And I just talked to JD Ritchie, and he's guides up there, and he's been catching some nice fish. So those fish are really shallow now compared to when I went in October, where we were spawning them in like 60 to 80 feet of water. And steelhead up north, Steve Huber's been catching them pretty good. So, if you want to go do some steelhead fishing, you could go up north in Oregon and give Steve Huber a call. And all these guys I'm mentioning, you could just Google their name online, and you can find out what they're doing, because the sturgeon fishing down the Delta in Pittsburgh has been off the hook. A lot of the guides are going out there. They're hooking like 2 to 6 fish at a time. They had 6 rods out, hooked 6, only 4 people in the boat, so they landed 4 of them. But sturgeon fishing is off the hook out there. So if you want to go do that, it's all catch and release. You can't keep any. Jay Lopes is a guy, Richie Acosta, and Steve Mitchell. You can Google those guys and then set up a trip if you want to go battle some sturgeon. Bass, the bass fishing in the fall in the lakes has been pretty good. Um, I know Folsom's open. I was there the other day, and that lake is so low. It's unbelievably low. It's 5 mile an hour speed limit, but it is super low. A friend of mine was at Orville. They caught fish up there. I'm sure Shasta is really good. And the fall is a time like when I like to pick up my spoons, and I did a video on that. You can look, and I call it I don't know, flip flopping your spoons and catching. And actually, we flip flop the stripers today, so that method works everywhere. And crappie, I'm sure you can catch them in the lakes too. This is just that time of the year. Well, anyway, every Saturday morning on California Sportsman and Ultimate Bass Radio, um, I'm on the 1140 AM dial. At 6:40 is when I go on, and I usually talk Seps and Kent Brown, and then gone fishing marine. If you need anything with your boat repairs or electronics, or you want to buy a boat, go see him. Ask for Mark Blatton. Tell him I sent you. He'll treat you good. And Blind Squirrel channel, check it out. It's a fishing channel. He goes out no matter if it's good or not and puts the report out. So anyway, it's almost Christmas, so it's get out there and buy your Christmas gifts for your buddies and stuff. And if you like this video, hit the like, please subscribe, leave a comment. I'll get back to you in a few days. So I'll see you guys next week.